What is going on, guys? This is Miasin, and as you can clearly see, I finally did it. I am Platinum 1, completely free to play with only two decks, which are Cyber Dragons and SForce. So I will be showing you guys both of my deck list, and of course going to be confirming you that I never had to pay for any of these gems. So yeah, 100% were completely free, never paid for jack. And of course, if you tune in into my live streams, you would be able to confirm I have never spent a single dollar on this game, so you don't have to have a credit card or whatever in order to play and have fun with this game and also win, which is the really cool part. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe, and also check me out on Twitch and Instagram. And with that being said, let's get into deck profile number 1. Alrighty, so my first deck list is Cyber Dragon, and it didn't really change much since last time except for one card, which I'm playing Cyber Dragon Nova instead of the Puzzlomino that I had before. So it was this card right there. There are some cool combos with this card that I showcase in most of my Cyber Dragon videos, combo videos that I upload like pretty much every 2 months or something like that. So if you haven't checked them out already, make sure you do. They're all pretty much in my channel, even though I have like 10 of them now. But yeah, this card is only really good when you play Cyber Dragon Fear. Otherwise, it's not really worth it. You might as well just play a second Nova with, of course, 2 Infinity. This came up a few times, not super often, but whatever, it can come up. And the majority of the time when I had Puzzlomino, I was just banishing it for Pot of Prosperity anyways. For the rest of the main deck, even though nothing changed, I'm still going to go over it. So 3 Cyber Dragon Hertz, 1 Cyber Dragon Nexture, 3 Maxi, 3 Core, 2 Ash. A lot of people ask me why 2 and not 3. It's once per turn, so drawing multiples is not the best, and as a hand trap against like most decks, it doesn't really have a high impact, so I'm not a really big fan of it. 1 Cyber Dragon, double Galaxy Soldier, Overload Fusion, triple Emergency, Repair Plant, double Pot of Prosperity, 1 Cyberload, a random ass Torrential Tribute, almost no logic behind it, triple Compose, triple Imperm, triple Overflow, triple Ice Dragon's Prison, triple Strike, and the Unending Nightmare, which is very, very good, and it's just a super rare, even though it's one of the best trap cards in this entire deck. Alright, and for the extra deck, I'm playing double Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. So there are 3 ways to summon this, either with Overload or Cyberload, but also when your Nova gets destroyed, you can summon a Rampage from your extra deck. So it actually mattered once, I think, when I played, that if I played another Machine Fusion, it would have been cool. I mean, the majority of them aren't like the best, so it's not super relevant. And yeah, double Fortress, double Mega Fleet, double Nova, double Infinity. Relinquished Anima, you can either play that or Link Rebo, but in this game, both are ultra rares, so you might as well just play the one that actually has an effect that you might actually need. So sometimes your Cyber Dragon Hertz can bait a negate, which is great. And this is a spellcaster, so it came up once where I summoned this and I was able to turn off Secret Village, but even without it, I was still winning the game, so it doesn't matter. Relinquish, Salamangreat Great Almirage. This is in order to get your core in the grave, so you can use Repair Plan, because you can only use this when you have a Cyber Dragon in your grave. And finally, Seeger, Anaconda, and Lina. So that's it for this Cyber Dragon deck list. But of course, I also used SForce in order to get to Platinum rank. And I'll show you guys the deck list right now. And here it is. A lot of people might not understand what SForce even does, but I can tell you. So this deck is very, very aggressive when it gets to fully pop off. Obviously, if you get interrupted, the deck isn't like inherently resilient, so that's kind of an issue, where let's just say that your opening play is either Idea or Chiyomaru, and you get Veilored where it hurts, then you might just pass turn with only back row as cards that you can use. So that kind of sucks, but when you get to set up, the deck pretty much always win on turn 3, which is your second turn. So I'm playing 3 Idea. A lot of people only play this with Monarchs and only think this works only with Monarchs, but this can summon Chiyomaru from your deck, which is the main monster of this deck. So by banishing an SForce card from your hand and by returning back Chiyomaru from your field to your hand, you get to special summon any SForce monster from your deck. So the combo is that you go Chiyomaru, banish Gravitino, and summon Platina from the deck. And I'm going to explain that in a moment. But I'm, of course, also playing 3 Maxi, 2 Ash, and 3 Imperm. I only own 2 Ash anyways, but I don't really want to craft like another Ash. I don't think it's that worth it. Maybe I might pull it. Maybe we never know, but whatever. Now I'm playing the SForce Edge Razor. This card does two things, and I want to say every single SForce monster does two things for the most part. They all pretty much have a continuous effect that negatively impacts your opponent's monsters in the same column as monsters in the same column of your SForce monsters. If that makes any sense, let's just say that you have two SForce monsters in column 1 and 3, and your opponent has two monsters in 1 and 3. They both are going to be suffering from the continuous effects of your SForce. So the continuous effect of Edge Razor is that those monsters in the same column cannot be used as link material for the summon of link 3 or higher monsters, which can actually hurt when your opponent is trying to push for like access code or something like that. And the other effect is on normal or special summon. You can special summon one SForce monster from your hand. Only from the hand, unfortunately. It would have been nice if it was like for hand, deck, or grave. Well, deck would have been like tier 0, but a hand, grave, or banish would have been like very, very cool, but it's only from hand, sadly. Yeah, this one summons from the deck. That's why it's like way too good. Like, it's so much better than every other SForce cards. And Platina on normal or special, it revives back an SForce from your banished. And we are waiting for another SForce that's called Lapswell, which revives back from the graveyard. So we're going to have the full family of summon from hand, summon from deck, summon from grave, and summon from banished. And finally, Gravitino is the Stratos of the deck. So upon normal or special summon, you get to add for any SForce card from your deck to your hand. So that's how the deck actually gets a lot of gas going. So very small SForce engine for the most part. That's like 7 starters, I think. Even more because of the field spell. So 11 starters. Pretty consistent deck, and you get to play pods, so Extravagance, Prosperity. Overall, it's a very good, consistent deck, but like I said, it has some issues. So it's just a rogue deck, but it's not like a tier 1 deck by any stretch. And yeah, Reinforcement of the Army, Terraforming, Triple Pot of Extravagance, Double Pot of Prosperity. This is a pretty good ratio for the most part. 3 field spells, so overall 4 field spells. This adds an SForce monster from your deck to your hand, so typical good field spell effect. And on top of that, when an opponent's monster declares an attack in your SForce in the same column as that monster, you get to protect it from that battle. So sometimes your opponents, they misplay and they summon their big monster in the same column, and they can't jump over your thing, and next turn you just kill them. And then, of course, more utility cards. I don't really have the money to afford, well, the gems, rather, to afford the other kind of staples, such as Valor, stuff like that, because they're all ultra rares. So right now, I'm playing Book of Moon. There's also Forbidden Chalice, great card, but I'm already playing Imperm, so I wanted a little more variety in terms of cards. And also, if my idea gets hit by Valor or Imperm, I can chain Book of Moon to flip my own monster, and it's still going to resolve. So this almost acts like a call by the grave sometimes. And yeah, triple Imperm, double Specimen, triple Chase, and triple Strike. So Strike, literally everybody knows this, and it's a really good card because it's good going first and second. It breaks already established boards, but Chase is the main card of this deck. It's very similar to Ritual Beast Steeds, and the card reads, target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of SForce monsters you control with different names, return them to the hand, and if an SForce monster you control would banish a cards from your hand to activate its effect, you can banish this card from your grave instead. Now remember when I said that Chiyomaru had to banish a card from the hand to use its effect? If you have Chase in the graveyard, you don't have to banish anything from the hand. You just banish Chase from the grave, and you get a free special summon from deck just like that, not even paying a really expensive cost. And also, Gravitino has the broken effect where each monster in your opponent controls at the same column as your SForce monsters get banished when they leave the field. So instead of bouncing back monsters from your opponent's field to the hand, you're actually banishing them. So very nasty when your opponent doesn't place monsters correctly. And Platina lowers the amount, the attack of all of your opponent's monsters in the same column by 600. So that's also really cool. And Specimen is a better Call of the Haunted. It revives back an SForce monster from your graveyard or banished, and it has another neat effect in the graveyard where you can change the battle, column placement of your SForce monster, so you can ensure that it's always in the same column as your opponent, meaning that your opponent will actually lose quite a lot of value when the monsters are probably like sent to the graveyard, for example. Instead of that, they get banished. So if your opponent is playing Prank Kids, and you know that you're going to be facing Prank Kids, your opponent goes like a normal summon a monster, you just chain Chiyomaru, summon Gravitino from deck, and then you get a search, and then your opponent links off for Meow Meow and doesn't get the graveyard effect of the Prank Kids monster because it gets banished since it was in the same column as your Gravitino. So summoning Gravitino on your opponent's turn with Chiyomaru is absolutely busted. So yeah, that's it for the main deck, but if you still have questions, let me know. For the extra decks, the majority of the cards are just burner cards that for the most part I'm not even gonna summon. Technically, I can synchro summon Omega by using Ash and Gravitino since it's a level 5 monster, but it's never really gonna come up too often. Relinquished Anima, technically I can make it if my idea survived turn 1, it's still on the field, and then I can make that. Well, it's never gonna come up though. IP Masquerena, Geonator, Transversor, Lina. Alright, Triple Justify. This card is really good, and then Boral Sword and Access Code. These cards do come up, but Justify is the best Link monster. That's the one monster that you really are trying to summon relatively often. So, unfortunately, you do need 3 effect monsters for it, including an SForce since it's a Link 3 monster, but the effect is broken. So, you can negate the effect of a effect monster your opponent controls during either player's turn, and also change it to like the zone it points to, and it has 3 arrows up, so diagonally on both sides and directly on front. And when it attacks, you can banish every monster your opponent controls that is being pointed by the Justify. So this is a great way of banishing monsters that can be destroyed by battle, card effect, etc. And yeah, Boral Sword and Access Code, pretty much everybody and their mother knows about these cards, so I don't really have to talk about them. But if you have any question on either SForce or Cyber Dragon or whatever, or my grind on Platinum 1, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.